What's up? It's your boy D Change coming at ya with another Daily Dave for Friday, April 3rd, 2020. I was listening to a podcast today between Peter Attia and Ryan Holiday. Peter Attia is a doctor and he's really into fitness and the health and nutrition behind that. And Ryan Holiday is a writer, an author who's written books such as Trust Me, I'm Lying. He kind of talked about the same techniques that were used in the Donald Trump campaign for the Trump presidential campaign of 2016, as well as stoicism in general. And I think one of his more recent books is called Stillness is the Key. And they're both talking about concepts from that book. Stoicism, I guess, distilled is this philosophy of kind of relinquishing control of or relinquishing the suffering of things you don't have control over, but taking responsibility for things you can control. So the whole idea is there's always going to be stuff like plagues, war, global suffering, and other people's emotions and behaviors that you really can't control them or those things, but you can control how you react to those things, how you behave in general in life, that type of thing. And I guess stoicism gets kind of compared to I want to say nihilism or nihilism, but it's not, not exactly that. There's clearly kind of like a moral code to it, and this sense of what can you do to be responsible to yourself, and then by extension that leads to your family and community, etc. So in times like this, stoicism is probably something that many people will be gravitating towards, as well as meditation and any sort of way to kind of mentally calm yourself down, or to just realign your focus so that you're not constantly bombarded by bad news and being upset about what other people do and how things could get worse and how they are getting worse and stuff like that. And there will be plenty of people who will suffer because of this, either directly or indirectly. Anyway, that was a good podcast. That was a good conversation. I liked the concepts they went over. And I like that, what they talked about in regards to leadership, and how there was this kind of huge failure in leadership overall from a global standpoint, that we are in the situation we are in now. But that's the problem with the pandemic. It's something that's going to happen and going to happen a lot more. And we kind of have to accept that fact. Today it's coronaviruses. Tomorrow it could be prions. The next day it could be superbug bacterium. There's a lot of things in nature that will end up wanting to kill us purely for their own survival. That's just how things work. They're not necessarily malicious in their intent. It's just that is the instinct of all living beings to pass on their genetic code. So with that perspective, you can see why other organisms do what they do to survive and then live off hosts such as humans or bats or civets or other animals and stuff like that. So anyway, I bought a strawberry hibiscus tea today for my weekly teleboba meeting. And on the cup, it's from 7 Leaves. On the cup it said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world, Gandhi." And I thought, man, that's pretty relevant right now, because at least for us, I feel like we can't really depend on our government agencies. We can't place 100% trust or dependency on them. We can see that there have been failures at multiple levels, but what are we going to do as individuals? What are we going to do as families, as communities, to help each other out, to support each other in these trying times? So I think that's a really relevant statement. And yeah, there's kind of there's room for discussion about change. What are we going to do after this? How are we going to handle work? How are we going to revive the economy? How are we going to take care of the people who will be hurt the hardest because of something like this? How will we change how trade works? How will we change how global supply chain works? How will we change how disaster response works? How pandemic response works? How how medical literature is interpreted, or basically just are we gonna keep going with this whole like let's just listen to talking heads, or that speak to our emotions or our primal lizard brain feelings, or are we willing to take a step back and try to be a little more rational about things, and discover that there are a lot of smart people trying to solve the problems that we have right now, but we maybe we should empower them, or maybe we should have listened to them years ago when we were closer to a better spot, when we were closer to finding a vaccine for coronaviruses, when we were in the aftermath of the first SARS outbreak. Will we learn from history? Will we learn from our mistakes? Sometimes I feel like there's a pattern of futility. There's a pattern of no, we won't learn. But at the same time, our species has survived this far, so I would hope that we have learned. Perhaps we've had to learn multiple hard lessons, and we've had to make very difficult sacrifices in the past. But who knows? I mean, we don't really know where the end of the tunnel is here. Currently in the U.S., the estimate is shelter in place will last until April 30th. There will be a reevaluation of some sort. Will we return in May? I mean, at this point, it doesn't look like the schools will. Will workplaces just end up being empty for the rest of the summer? Or, will we even have a proper summer, I guess? It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to think about stuff like that, So, in the interest of kind of staying away from that, because we probably have plenty of that, I guess we gotta figure out what outlets we can go to instead, right? What kind of meditation can you do? Where can you focus your brain on something that's either more productive or healthier for yourself? And so, during my walk today, I was listening to, Sam Harris talk about how his app it's a yearly subscription, but for any reason, if you feel like, you can't pay that amount, you can email them and you can say, hey, I just, I can't afford it. And they'll give it to you for free, because they don't want money to be the reason why you can't get access to the content they're creating. And I think that's a really interesting model. I really wonder what like the business numbers look like. I idealistically would love to apply that to my own business someday, where it's a matter of, hey, if we offer you a service, or like, especially software as a service, where it is a subscription model, you're probably going to earn enough money in general, where, a select few will be able to support a larger community. And I think that's good. I think that's generally a good thing. I guess I would like to see more of that type of generosity, or that willingness, right, to contribute to a pool, to contribute to a social safety net, to contribute to a community. Because, the reality is not everyone has access to the same stuff. So it is very gracious and nice to have, people with the means, people with, I guess, more privilege, people with more resources, disproportionately more resources than the others, to be able to help out, you know. And it's good to see companies also kind of, I mean, a lot of them are taking, I don't want to say taking advantage, because honestly everyone's going to be affected by this, but this is an opportunity, you know. A pandemic isn't a good thing at all. If anything, it's very bad sign of how things have kind of fallen apart in terms of like the prevention aspect of it. But the opportunity we have is, let's reevaluate, you know, our lives, what we're living for, how we handle things the way we do now. Gives us a chance to kind of reframe everything, right? So similar to when I spent 2 years in Tokyo and lived a different life, so to speak. Because coming back, I felt like I was returning to the past. Similar to that adventure, I definitely have the opportunity right now to really reevaluate my own life and its trajectory. And I really have to think, like, what's important to me, right? What do I want to spend my time on? And that is an important thing to know. That might change in 2 to 3 years. It might change in 6 months. But I think there's value to at least having something, being able to name it, and working towards it. Because otherwise I feel like I'm just dreaming, you know? Like, hoping that something's going to happen, but taking no action. And that has been a problem of mine for quite a long time. So yeah, this, again, the situation sucks. Normally on a Friday night, you know, we'd all be able to go out and hang out and get dinner together and go explore the city or take a walk together, go do whatever. But right now, since I have a lot of time to myself, I really want to contemplate, you know, what does everything mean, so to speak. Not to be too heavy, but definitely something to think about. Something that'd be great to write down. Journaling is huge in Stoicism, because that's basically what the philosophers did. They journaled and they detailed their thoughts, and there's a big advantage to that. In the podcast with Peter Attia and Ryan Holiday, they talked about Anne Frank's journal, and Peter Attia even he was telling his daughter about Anne Frank, and he was telling her that, like, oh yeah, she was in an attic with another family, and, you know, when you're in a situation where you're hiding from, you know, soldiers that are looking around for people like you because they want to take you away, you know, the only thing she could resort to was to put her mind to something, to put pen to paper, to write down that journal. And it was really like a call to morality and a call to arms in some way, because it was like the Queen of the Netherlands was saying, or someone was saying, like, you know, when we all get through this, like, we'll want to hear your stories, so please document what's going on. And that's how, you know, Anne Frank's diary became so popular. So it's something to think about. I'm definitely going to think more about, you know, what kind of a legacy I want to leave behind, but also what kind of a record I'm willing to keep for myself. Because not even just for the generations after me, say my children or grandchildren, or, you know, even just my niece, but even for myself, you know, when I'm sadly, you know, close to the end, or in my deathbed or whatever, I'd like to be able to take a look back and reflect and recount what I've been through, how I felt, what it meant to live a life, you know? So yeah. Make it worth it. Live a good life. Saving Private Ryan. Something like that. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all staying healthy and safe. And I hope you do have the chance to at least be grateful for what you do have, and also to figure out, you know, where life is going to take you. Because I think we're all just not sure, right? And we would find a lot more comfort in being sure. And I hope that comes to us sooner rather than later. So, yeah. Until next time, this was Dave. I was going to say see you next time, but I'm like, I basically just said that. Anyway, peace out.